All right. Welcome to Balance's webinar number 4, where alternative viewpoints on LiveOps platforms will clash. That is why the name of this webinar is Clash of LiveOps. At some point, every gaming studio has to decide whether to buy or to build its own LiveOps platform. And in this session, we decided to explore how studios create their in-house solutions to manage LiveOps and highlight both advantages and potential pitfalls. We want you to be aware of all possible risks and avoid the common mistakes. That is why I think this webinar will be very helpful in this aspect. My name is Yulia. I'm the head of growth at Balancy, and joining me today are two Mikes. Don't confuse them. Mike Kripin, product owner at Balancy, and Mike Busyrev, product manager at Crazy Panda Limited. Mike, tell us about your experience at Crazy Panda and in the industry in general.
Hello. I've started my career as client-side developer. It was around 20 years ago. My first game was written 20 years ago.
Wow.
And 12 years I worked in Crazy Panda Limited. And I created two big farm games as product owner. Both of them are now closed. It's not lives forever. And I took part in household game development. This game still alive, and it's 15 years old and has over 10 million installs on Facebook. And now I'm technical researcher on our internal products.
So you say that this game is live for 15 years, right?
Yes,
It
15
must have
years.
amazing live ops, doesn't it?
Kind of.
Okay. Anyways, you've probably seen the building of the in-house live ops platform from the very scratch and to the
Yes.
to the version that it is now.
Yes, I have seen many processes of creating LiveOps platforms because our company has studios, and this company is federative, and studios can make their own decisions, and they can create tools for their games separately. And we used and some sort of database viewers or JSONs and Google Sheets and Excel, both of these tools.
Awesome. Actually, Mike Ripin also has experience of managing in-house live ops. He previously worked on a live game at Nexters, but today he is a product owner at Balancy and hopefully an advocate of ready solutions. Right, Mike?
Yes, correct. When you see both sides, you have something to compare with. So, yeah, I will try to show you the different perspective on the matter.
Awesome. It seems like we're going to have a battle today. All right. So the topics that this is the intro slide. I've missed it, but anyways, you've seen our faces already. So let's jump into the agenda. Topics that we will cover in today's conversation are the following. We will discuss what are the components of a LiveOps platform and how LiveOps setup may vary across projects and companies, how much it costs to build and maintain such systems. We will mention some real-life stories and common mistakes that developers make when building in-house. And hopefully we will make some conclusion on when it's better to build in-house and when it's better to buy a LiveOps platform. But before we dive into the topic or into this battle, I want to show you some memes that our colleague has created on the topic of in-house versus Balancy. Even if you consider in-house to be the best option, I'm sure you will love these pictures. So let me share them with you. So this is the first one. Everyone knows this meme with this girl. My colleague said that I should be standing in the place of this girl looking like this.
Yeah, we're always on fire. Game development is such a nice place. We are always on fire.
Everyone can relate. So this one, where Balancy is gonna beat everyone.
Hope so. Working on
Yeah.
that.
And one more. Here you will need to read the text. So I don't know. We will see today whether in-house LiveOps setup is so complicated, or maybe it is even more complicated than in this picture. So yeah, let's dive into it. Let's talk about LiveOps platforms, its components, and all that stuff.
Okay, maybe I will ask the first question for today. Um, Mike, what do you think? What is the right time to start thinking about the LiveOps admin panel or any tool that you will use later during your game cycle? What do you think?
Thinking from the beginning of your game, from the scratch. But I think that you should not start your game development from building LiveOps platform at first, because I think that firstly you should focus on your game, and if the game become usable, playable, then you should start to development tools uh, and tools. Uh, and first steps, I think, is just JSONs and Google Sheets or Excel. It's a good start point for your game. I think that you shouldn't spend many time at the beginning.
So, if I understand you correctly, you consider the content management system as a integral part of LiveOps tool or the system, and every developer should start from having this CMS, and then eventually it will evolve into something bigger.
Kind of. You can start without any CMS, just plain JSONs in the folder called game balance and level design. And yes, it should evolve with your game. If your game is small, I think your uh, live ops should be small too.
Could you please describe how it would evolve with time? What will be added next to the system? What's after that? Which some generic stages of evolution for that system?
First of all, you start from plain JSONs without any schema, without anything. You do first your balance, play it, understand that it's crap, delete it, make new balance, and after some iterations, you understood that yeah, it's playable. It looks like you can move forward with new features in your game, and you can add something like JSON schema or move these JSONs to database, add some helper functions not to prevent errors during development. And while your game will grow, your instruments will grow too with your game. I think so.
Could you tell me, please, how your internal tools are built right now? Are they on different stages or for different projects, or you use something common for all the projects and the system evolves in parallel and everything is available for the team when they start working on the game?
Our internal platform is it's like octopus. It has the core features, and core features available for every team. But every team can write plugins for it and extend for their needs. Some teams declined this core system and started from scratch from JSONs and Excels. And our company is federative, and we allow teams to make their decisions as they want. And we're not forcing them to use our internal platform. but most of projects uses it.
And the core features of the whole system, I think, remain the same. I think you have this content management part there, something about special offers, maybe you test something, eventually you start implementing some LiveOps events. So how would you describe these components? What do you have? Can you list them like
Uh,
in short?
Mostly, our CMS is very general. It's there is no special event management or special campaigns management. It's just a database editor with tables that project created, and every project makes event management, character management, boost management, and other tools with plugins to simply a database viewer, and they are not common between two games. They develop these things separately because core is too basic for this.
Mhm.
Uh, and this on this CMS in the household there is many different pages, like a characters editor, clothes editor, boosts editor, quests editor, campaigns editor, and so on, so on, so on. There is this game is very huge. It has many items and content, and 15 years old game.
Mhm.
Oh,
There's a lot
that's
of
quite a
things.
lot. Um, how would you describe when was the moment when you thought that your LiveOps system for the project is like feature complete? Mm,
It's
I
never
just
complete.
no, I suspect that for quite a few years recently, you didn't add some new significant features. I mean, if you have localization part, you have to have it from beginning. If you implement special offers or A/B testing, for example, at some point, you just keep it there. How often do you add some new features, like uh, big features, for example, that
Big features.
wasn't there?
If we talk about really big features, I think it's one or two features in a year. Big features. One of the biggest features was JSON schemas for every JSON field and autocomplete for every JSON field that we have there. It's really big feature, and took time to develop it. It really after that the error rate is became lower than before, because
Mhm.
it's real timely. Focus you on your errors, red underline, and so on. For mini features like adding something, some descriptions or something small, I think 5, 6 in a year, not every month.
Uh, am I correct by saying if you add some new feature into the game, for example, imagine your game didn't have battle pass and you will implement the battle pass eventually. You will add the new section, the new like UI for that to manage that new feature in your LiveOps system. Only
Uh,
at that moment when it is needed to be configured for the game.
uh, Kind of. You creating a database page and database table with fields, and it automatically creates from a template, and you can fill every field that you described in database. And after that, using plugins, you can add some validators or some text or something, some helpers, It's created automatically and rewritten by
Hmm.
hands.
Okay. Uh, One thing came to me when you were saying about what parts your LiveOps system consists of. Do you use any, um, let's say, segmentation for your audience for game design purposes, not for analytical part, which is obviously a good thing to do, but mm, to to create some player segments that you will use of in game mechanics, for example, for
Yes,
balancing the game.
for different countries, this game deployed to every country in the world, and in different countries it has different content. Sometimes characters are recreated, and some quests may be allowed in different countries. And we have filters. We called it installation. We have installation for one region, installation for another region, and there is a text field in our CMS where you can filter any item. It may be quest, it may be character, it may be clothes, any generally any item you can filter to any installation, and it works.
Hmm.
Sometimes it causes uh, strange strange conditions, like you forgot to uh, exclude some quest in some country, but all items are excluded from this country, and they have a quest that can't be completed because there is no items to complete this quest. Yes, it can be.
Sounds fun. um, do you have any um, tools in your LiveOps system to like take the burden of programming from your client developers or backend developers, so your game designers could implement some kind of logic that could be used in mechanics, but without involvement of the developers.
uh, Mostly not. You can't create a new mechanic using only our CMS, but there is some integration with game while you're designing new event. You can start the game and arrange items in the window of new window, uh, arrange them and press special button and get JSON for this layout. You don't need to layout it using tools. You can layout it in game, and after
Okay.
that you can paste this JSON to CMS, and it will work.
Oh, so you basically use the game client as UI editor.
Yes, sometimes. Yes, sometimes we use game as editor. It, it's the easiest way to do it.
Oh, that's really interesting thing. Um, I would show you what we have in our LiveOps platform, what blocks it consists of. Yulia is sharing the screen. Thank you very much. So we obviously have the content management. We can create different kinds of configs. Basically, any kind of config could be created as a structure and filled with data. We have special offers that you mentioned, of course. We have a specific feature for to create the in-game stores and manage in-game stores with pages, store items, slots, and so on. We support A/B testing all across the platform. We allow to A/B test actually any parameter on the system that is visible to the user. We have segmentation that I mentioned before when I was asking you. We can segment players based on any condition that is trackable in user profile. We have localization manager with 18 languages, so you can keep all your localized texts on the platform at one place. We have special offers. We have push notifications, and my personal favorite, we have a visual scripting language that allows our clients, game designers of our clients, to implement some uh, simple or not simple logic that can be executed on our platform, on our site, without involving the client developers or backend developers of the client on the game, and still kind of flexible language that allows you to manipulate with all the other features that are presented on our platform, and especially useful for personalization because it has access to user profiles, and you can tweak logic based on every particular user property that you have stored for the player. I would say that these are the basic building blocks for LiveOps system from our perspective. And the thing that is not on the screen right now is the calendar, like game events planner that
Actually, it is on the screen. You can see it
I did,
in the game events calendar.
yeah, this is the small part to
It's a
the right of the,
simplified version. Yes, in reality, it's a bit more sophisticated and more detailed.
yeah. Uh, we use it for to visualize the content of game events, offers, and A/B tests that you can set up on different pages. But here they are aggregated to the calendar view, so you could easily see on which day what will be happen and in the future and what happened in the past. And also it combines a bit with analytic part that you can see your revenue for every day and users, installations, new users, old users. It's like a central dashboard that allows you to go from this central point to many directions all across the platform. And we continue to evolve it. As you say, it's always evolving.
I think if we try to compare the two solutions that you both Mikes have described, the key difference between the two would be this calendar of game events. Actually, Mike from Crazy Panda pointed us just before the call that this one looks really amazing, and this is something that not many developers have. And the second feature is visual scripting, where you can literally, like your game designer, product person, can take and use the visual scripting for creating a new logic for events, for special offers, for rewards, without bothering the development team every time.
I would say so, yes. That in mostly it looks like the common building blocks. It depends on how you connect them between each other. You may have them implemented in different places, on different web pages, different instruments. I don't know. Actually, Mike, it's up to you. Could you please explain, is your system separated into different tools that are accessed in different way? Some of them are applications, or some of them are web pages, or just a database success. How do you like laid it out?
Our LiveOps systems looks pretty like your blocks. First of all, it's CMS, and in this CMS, balance and special offers and events are combined. You can create events and offers from the content management system. Analytics platform is totally separated, made by another team product, internal product. It's web page tool, and analytics is common for every project in Crazy Panda, and it's separate system. Localization is separate system too. It's too old too, more than 10 years, and it's not well designed as Balancy, but it works. And messaging part, we have two separated projects for messaging with our players on social media and with push notifications. It's separate project too. Localization, messaging, analytics, and CMS. We have 4 parts. And Google Sheets and Excel and
Of
some
course, how
sort of
without them?
yes, and some exportation tools to export from CMS to Google Sheet and rebalance it and import from Google Sheet to CMS. Both directions are supported.
Have you ever seen a game which didn't use spreadsheets for game balance?
Never.
No.
Every game designer I have seen using sheets, Google Sheets or Excel. Everyone. We have one part. There is this part is missing on your presentation. It's balance tests. We made it on 3 games. It's really amazing. The household now has more than 1,000 balance tests. It's every game has a rules. Like on the gold pack, you have to bring a gold rated hero, or in platinum pack, it will be a platinum rated hero. And we can write a test that in our balance, in our pack, there is a gold rated hero. And we run these tests before any deployment. And it's, I think every second deployment it found an error. It's a really, really amazing tool for game designers to have a good sleep after deployment, that you don't miss something very.
It looks like automated unit tests, but for game balance, when you have to check out
Yes.
lots of items or bundles just to be sure that they all include something that they must include, nothing is missed. And for these must-haves, you just script it to automatically test on every update.
Yes.
So it's like a
Uh,
validation system, right?
Yeah.
Like
yes. It's
yeah,
validation system.
validation. We also have this in balance because this is like super important for uploading the new game balance and not breaking everything, which very often happens with spreadsheets.
Yeah, we
Yes.
control the data types. We control the some broken links or some connections between some entities. Yeah, we
Mhm.
definitely do
It's
some part
important.
of that. Yes, but when we talk about the particular game rules that depend on the game itself, on gameplay, on game mechanics, Of course, it's up to developer to implement something, some part of that that will be on top.
Well, we've discussed quite a lot about the components of LiveOps platforms. Of course, we understand that this may vary from company to company, but this is like a general overview of what a good LiveOps platform, whether in-house or ready platform, should have. Uh, but there is always a question like how much it costs, right? If we're talking about ready platforms, here you have more or less some predictability, and you can calculate like how much the subscription would cost uh, for your game. But when we're talking about in-house, that's a bit more unpredictable, maybe, and quite complex for calculating. It's really a complex question which can be influenced by many factors because setups may vary from company to company. The needs of mid-core game and hybrid casual game would be not completely, but somehow different. The level of live ops will be different in them. Also, a small studio will be from the very beginning limited in budget, while for bigger studios, this can be even multi-million projects. As well, salaries may vary in different countries, but we have tried to make rather abstract calculations of how much it can cost if you decide to build an in-house system from scratch. And you can see our calculations on the screen. So if you take the team of 5 different developers, product manager, and you calculate their salaries, like per month, it would be 25K. Annual spendings would be 30,000 K, and this is not counting some licenses and server costs and so on. I know personally stories of Western gaming studios, like big studios, where such projects were built during like 1-2 years, and the budget was $2-3 million. So these are the numbers that I have. But I do understand that different teams may have different numbers for these. And I'm very curious, Mike, to know if it's possible to give us any numbers on how much this platform cost for Crazy Panda Limited. I don't know, years, number of developers, money data, any data is useful.
I think it's really hard to calculate, but I think it's cost around maybe 3% of game budget, because we client side always slower than server side, as my from my point of view. Server sides are faster than client side, because on client side there is much more things you should do, and then server side team has spare time. They can develop some features for CMS or LiveOps platform, and it grows with the game from the big from this. When you have a small game, you have a small CMS, small LiveOps platform, and while the game is growing, CMS and other tools are growing too. If you include analytics into LiveOps price, it will grow rapidly, because analytics platforms cost huge amount of money in any condition, internal or buying analytics. If you're talking about billion of analytic events, it costs money, and you have to pay this price, because driving a game without analytics, it's like driving a car without ice. It's, I think, totally bad way.
So, trying to sum up, your idea is that the development of in-house LiveOps platform doesn't have to be like enormously expensive if you manage your resources right. If you use the development forces in an optimized way, right? You mentioned these 2 teams of server and client developers, and when server developers have free time, you can give them tasks for developing the CMS system. I agree that analytics is super important for LiveOps, and of course, this is like also takes a lot of budget, which it is a part of LiveOps as well. I would add to this that once you start thinking about systems like visual scripting or like game events calendar, this would also be quite extensive development resources. But yeah, the general idea, I think, is more or less clear here. Thank you for sharing the numbers. And how many years did it take you to, I mean, to make it a working system? Like,
It started like have you seen like MySQL editors or something, admin panels for PG admin, something else, and it started like just generated just pages generated from database description, and it not cost too much for the first start, and it it's a good basement to put some plugins on top of just a database, and it started month for this first start, and you I think that if you are a new game developer, if you are indie, you should start from just Excel. Just start with Excel, export so CVS or comma separated values or JSON, and just put it on your game and play with it. I think that then your game becomes a business. Then this business grows. That time you have to invest to uh, LiveOps platform, buy it or redevelop your JSONs.
Yeah, I totally understand this approach. It's kind of evolutionary approach, let's say. When you have proven the idea, the concept of the game, you can start modernizing your tools in it. The disadvantage that I can see in here is that your focus will be drawn to building internal tools rather than developing the game, which can cause some, um, disfocus, let's call it this way, where you have several projects running at the same time. All of them are important, and maybe those efforts and this attention that you could have given to your game, to making it amazing, engaging, you would give to the project of developing internal tools.
Yes, it's a real problem because then you soft launch your game. You already need A/B tests. You need uh, event management, and you need to start new events right after soft launch, and you have no time totally. Soft launch is fire everywhere, and then your game grows rapidly, really rapidly during soft launch, and you understood that it's a good game and it's grows. You really have no time for CMS, for admin panels, and you just do anything just every you wouldn't like to develop your internal LiveOps system while soft launch.
Well, everything is on fire. Yeah. Just
Yes.
could you please tell me but how small your iterations are, or no, even a different way. So if you use your internal LiveOps system, does it allow you to update the game remotely in real time? Does it help you to shorten the cycle of game updates to the player without
No,
involving the App Store? approval or something?
Oh, yes. About skipping App Store, yes, of course, we can redeploy our balance in every minute, but we disallowing it for game designers. It's deployment is a special stage made by our server-side developers, and it's part of our workflow. Game designers could create different stages with different features, and the household has a very strange release cycle. They has 2 releases every week with content for 15 years. 2 releases every week, and it's regular releases, and another releases is huge releases with new features, and they they could take about half a year to develop a new big really big feature, like new regions with new mechanics, or something like MMO activities. And we have different releases in development in parallel, huge releases and small releases, and we have around 10 instances of our game balance. It's around 10 stages where different game designers can work on different updates, and we can merge from the data from the stage to main stage and deploy it uh, every minute if you want. But game designers couldn't do it without server-side developer.
Ah, okay. So some release manager is or deploy manager is involved in the process. Um, could you give me a bit more details on these stages? They are like working environments, or you use something like version control system, like Git or something like
Mm,
that?
no, it's not Git. It's totally new server game instance with its own database, with its own admin panel, with its own
Hmm.
balance, and we have tools to make snapshot of game balance. You can snapshot it, and you can transfer snapshots from one stage to another stage. You can merge
Hmm.
snapshots. We have tools that visualize the differences in snapshots, uh, and stages and snapshots. It's the main tools for development
Okay.
releases in parallel.
Okay. And I imagine if you start working on some big fix or some new feature or new update, you just create a new stage and work that will be
Yes,
dedicated for that.
yes,
Hmm.
we can clone the main stage to a new stage and use it for development. Mostly, we're not creating new, but erasing old stages that are already released and
Hmm.
starting new features in the old stage.
Mm, quite sophisticated approach. Uh, thank you.
Mike, by the way, for sure you have a very sophisticated LiveOps setup built in-house during this 15 years. But I'm also sure that when building internally, there were some mistakes or wrong directions that you pursued, and maybe later on you regret about it, or just some, I don't know, real life stories that appeared and that can help our listeners to avoid similar mistakes. Can you share it with us?
Yes, there is interest story in the beginning of our development experience. We made something like dependence between assets, and our admin panel deletes dependent assets if you delete the parents of these assets. And it looks okay, it works some month, but someday one game designers wants to recreate the world asset. He deleted the world, and this admin panel deleted all the balance, all the data from database were deleted in one click, and just backups helps us. It's
Yeah, this
real
sounds like
life.
a little nightmare of a game developer.
Yes,
Deleting the
yes.
balance.
Whole balance for every item.
I
Sounds
have a
crazy.
couple of stories as well by myself. Once we also had internal tool for content management, and it had this functionality to merge between different stages. And when one new employee, new game designer, um, needed to take something from production environment to a development environment just to figure out some issue that happened only on production. They messed up with the directions from and to, and instead of taking from production to development, they took the same thing from development to production, and there were nothing to do with that because it was just destroyed. And another interesting part, when we I wish that we had this balance testing thing with rules that you described. We had an issue that testing balance went to production that was created just to simulate the quickest possible way to progress that might be used by whales if they spend a lot. And it contained like 10 times more items in the bundle. And when it went to production, the cost, the price for that was the same, but the players could have like 10 times more reward from that. And it happened during the event. And when we saw the analytics about how the event going, we were just shocked because we were selling this bundle in huge amounts of
Mhm.
money, but it didn't give us money, but like it inflicted the huge disbalance in the game economy because it was flooded with like 10 times more resources that it should be. So if we had this kind of balancing testing rules with some limitations or range checking or something, that would never happen.
Yeah, but this you learn from practice. So write
Of
down these
course,
tips,
of
guys.
course. You are not proper developer if you never broke the production
Yes, yes.
at least once.
But by the way, in your first story, you mentioned a very important topic about onboarding new employees. And
Yep.
my hypothesis would be that because internal systems very often, let's be honest, look like Windows 95 or even worse, it might be difficult for new employees to get onboarded. Is it true?
Uh, I think it's not so bad as it could think, because we use the system for decades, and every new game designers. Uh, if this game designer with experience from another company, these game designers have seen their own internal LiveOps systems, and
So they are ready for everything.
yes, and they're not so. Uh, I think there is no so many difference between content management systems for games, because every game has items and shops and uh, many common things are common between the games, and they are common in CMS too, just because they're common.
But speaking of numbers, how many time does it take to onboard a new employee to your system? Could you estimate?
For first usage, I think around 1, 2, maybe 3 days to just to show how it works. Mostly for the new game designers, we gave them the new separated stage, and they can broke the game. They can do everything they want. They can speed up the balance to understood the game, because landing of game designer is not landing to CMS. It's landing to a team, to a game. That game is very complicated thing. There is many rules in the game, and landing to CMS is not a big deal.
Speaking of
But
the separate stage, so it's kind of permission access. Yes, just
yes,
for them not to go where the whole team is making something very important. How do you manage these permissions and roles? Maybe you have something.
if we talk about CMS, there is only two levels in the household: the level that can affect production, and access rights that can't affect production. And most of game designers do not have permissions to directly edit the database in production.
Mhm.
If we talk about analytics and user management system, where can you delete users or access their personal data, these systems are absolutely the level of permission are absolutely necessary for these systems, and the systems are protected by the law, and by the different law in different countries, and we protect personal data very carefully, and only small amount of people can do this, and uh, all personal data are encrypted and restricted access, and we have regular checks who can do, why he can do this. It's all about analytics and personal data.
Mhm.
For whole game designer could go to another stage and broke it, but why should they do this?
Oh, accidentally. Shit happens.
Yes, backups every day, every night.
So it's
We have backups.
automatic
Yes,
backups
yes,
every day.
automatically backups every night, and by the pressing the button if you want, and
Mhm.
snapshots if you want, everything to store your data safely.
Guys, approaching the end of our conversation today, let's try to draw some conclusions. In which cases, Mike, would you recommend to build in-house LiveOps platform, and in which case, probably you would recommend to buy a ready LiveOps platform?
I think that then your game became a real business. You should think about buying the Balancy, because
Thank you.
because development of in if your business is serial, if you have series of games, it's I think it's more reliable, because you can switch people from one project to another project, and while they use the same balancing system, it's easier to be more flex team. Uh,
Mhm.
and development is always about flexicity, because you should listen your players, you should uh, create a fun for real people, and not for white sheets, and not for graphs.
Okay. But thank you for your warm words. That wasn't expected.
I Yeah, I mean, there are certainly like advantages and disadvantages in both setups. I think that's obvious. This conversation is not about choosing a winner. We know that some companies will always prefer to go with in-house internal development. Some companies, on the other hand, will find a ready LiveOps platform, saving them time and in some cases money as well. So I think it's important to find the setup that would work for your situation, for your game. And in my personal opinion, I think that at the moment the situation is the following: that some companies, especially industry giants, choose to develop in-house mainly because it's their company policy to have everything in-house, and they also have enormous budgets sometimes for internal development. And this way they can create a system that is very well tailored to their needs and at the same time keep all the technology inside the company. But there is also a growing segment of mid-sized companies that have the need to quickly upgrade their LiveOps to the level of these big players to be able to compete. They don't have this huge amount of time and budgets for like multi-million budget sometimes to build this LiveOps platform. They need LiveOps today or even yesterday, even better, yeah. And they choose, in this case, ready platforms that become more and more sophisticated nowadays. So that's my point of view. Do you have anything to add, or we just close this session?
I totally agree with what Gilly said. I think it's really dependent on the level of evolution, like on evolutional stage where your business is. And I really hope that today we make it a bit more easier to make this decision or maybe plan ahead what to do next.
Thank you both, Mikes, for sharing your insights and first-hand experiences. And thank everyone for listening for us. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
everybody.